We got a little bit of a couple guys that are sick, so LaShawn McCoy and Matt Moore won't practice today. Chris Jones is still recovering from the calf, so he's not going to go today. Everybody else will go and work. And we look forward to this challenge of playing the Titans. We know they're a heck of a football team. Mike does a nice job with them, and we have a good front office and so on. So it's a good organization, and our guys will get busy this week on getting ready to play them. That time's yours.
We talked a little bit about Chris on Monday. Are you more encouraged that he might be ready for this weekend?
He's getting better. We'll just see. We'll see how he does here.
Is this a situation where it's just a pain tolerance, or could he actually injure himself more if something like that happened again?
That's a loaded question because you don't know about if he could injure himself more until he plays. But we're not putting him in that position, and he's a tough kid, so he's not. The pain thing. It's however he can play to the best of his ability. That's what we look at.
Andy, how valuable is your experience in these games, and how have you tried to take advantage of it?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I have done a few of these, and we try to keep it as normal as we possibly can as far as the schedule goes for the players, so they can get their work done and stay within the routine of how they get themselves prepared. Likewise with the coaches, as best you can without having to travel up to do press conferences and that. So I try to stick to that, but I've done that majority of the time. I understand. I've been there. I understand how fast the game is. I mean, I can tell you that from experience, and the magnitude of it obviously is every time you take a step up in the playoffs. It's obviously still single elimination, but the magnitude's bigger, I guess you'd say.
Andy, how do you anticipate? How much do you anticipate Travis Kelce being able to do?
Yeah, he'll do some work. Yeah, he'll work.
Are they full load? You think? Or?
Yeah, well, I mean, today's a little bit lighter day, so we'll see. He feels better this week than he did last week, so that's a good thing. But we'll see. We'll give him the stuff he needs done and get that work in.
Andy, I want to take you back to training camp and really when maybe the season begins, or even earlier, maybe we'll change mini camp. But the relationship, the dynamic with Daniel Sorensen and Tyrann Mathieu, I know they had to get close for a reason at training camp. Sure. They play similar positions. Just how have you seen their relationship develop as the season's gone on?
Yeah, well, both of them are good guys, and I think both of them respect each other's game. They developed that. Dan probably knew more about Tyrann's, play than Tyrann knew of Dan's play. So coming into it, but I think they play off of each other well. They have good communication between them. So and then they get along, most of all, and you can see that off the field also. So.
Is that one of the more enjoyable aspects of coaching? Is like, hey, we think this guy, we're going to play with this guy. You don't really know until it happens, and then over the course of the season, you just see it sort of get deeper and deeper, their appreciation of one another, their need to have one another.
Yeah, you never know until you get them here, right? Until they have a chance to bond and go through all the stuff that you have to go through to put together a team. So, and the hard work and on and off the field with the meetings and so on. So, but their personalities work well together. Dan's a fairly quiet guy, and not that Tyrann's loud or anything, but he's probably a little bit more a personality that way. So.
Well, you're going to go to this second year for this team. What is your message this year versus last year to the players to get them prepared for Sunday's game?
Yeah, so we've got an influx of new guys that weren't here that are in pretty key positions. But my thing is preparation. You get yourself ready to go. Understand, which I think they do. I mean, these guys have been around a little bit, so I understand the things I mentioned about the game being faster, and any errors are exploited even more so than in the season, and then maintain your personality and get yourself ready for a heck of a ball game.
Coach, I know you've been so good on special teams since you've been here, you and Coach Dove, and Dave's track record speaks for itself. But you guys have had some problems in the Titan game in particular. You got stung with some special teams problems, and of course last week had some issues. You gotta, obviously if it's wave one, you do it and fix it, but has it been personnel change? I know you had a lot of turnover on the defensive side. Has it been something that you can get your arms around as to why you discovered?
Yeah, there are a couple things. I mean, we're working on those to make sure we get them better, and I think we'll be all right. They're going to get you every once in a while, so they got us this past week, and but we came back and got them, so it was give and take. But we got to get better in some spots, and the guys are working at that. So yeah.
Coach, we were so close last year, and I remember you saying back at camp that you couldn't just snap your fingers and be back in this position. You had to go through the process and go through the work. Just how proud are you of the guys who work here that they went back through that process and they took care of all the small things, knowing that they were going to have to earn this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's tough getting here once, right? That's not an easy thing. So the ability to put all of that aside and get yourself back in the right frame of mind to do it, and for the long haul in training camp, and then to this point, my hat goes off to the guys, for them, the coaches. They busted their tail to put themselves in this position, and they're still busting their tail. So to get ready to play against a good team. So that's. But yeah, I'm proud of them for that. You're like Bob Uecker for about a second right there.
Whenever you're asked about Patrick and sort of the cool and the leadership and all that, you often refer to the baseball, you go out to his dad and everything. Is that something that has to be learned, or is that something that's innate? And how rare is that for a guy that's 24?
Yeah, I think it's rare. I mean, his leadership ability, his ability to feel. I don't know if you can teach that part. You can teach the fundamentals and those things, but then they put their own personality on it. And you want to make sure that takes place. He's done that. And then he's been able to lead. I think where that locker room growing up, where that comes into effect, is it helps with the leadership, that he's not afraid to put it out there. And he's seen his dad and other leaders on that team, on the different teams, step up when they needed to, and know that somebody's not going to laugh at you or do that type of stuff. So you got to be able to step out and do that and feel comfortable. And he's comfortable with that. And then all the wrist and throwing from different motions or different angles. I think some of that's baseball. I mean, that helps. He played a lot more baseball than he did football early. So. He knows all those release points and what he can get away with from those spots.
Yeah, just no easy way to ask, but your team's 1-8 record against the Titans. Is there a common thread through that? There's been some crazy games and some really strange bounces in the games.
Yeah, they're all different. Heck of a record, though, isn't it? Not very good. I mean, Ted was telling me about it. I normally don't keep track of those things, but Ted reminded me before I got in here that you guys would ask. So I got to do better on my end. My players, they've won more games than I have against them. Some of these guys. So I'm just going to bank on them.
Andy, you mentioned the other day seeing some parallels between what Patrick's influences on the team and the offense, and Tyron's influence too. I wonder if you might be able to elaborate on that. What are the common denominators and what they seem to bring both the room and their sides of the ball?
Yeah, they're very similar personalities, different backgrounds and all that. I mean, they're different people. So, but their ability to lead men, I think, is common. They've got an easy way about them where they can analyze a situation and come to the players with clarity on it. Good communication skills, and I think both of them love to play. I always joke the Badger that we just kind of unlock the cage and he makes all these funny noises, comes out and plays his tail off, but he's a tremendous communicator and loves the game. And like Patrick, he studies like crazy to make sure he gets everything down, and then he's got those instincts. So they're very similar in those areas.
Did you say something about both of them, that they, in their first years of really playing, I mean, with a team, that they can play such a prominent role in terms of their voices? I mean, right away they're respected and.
Yeah, there are different levels in their career, age by age and years, but I think that common denominator is that leadership and feeling comfortable in their own skin. They're not afraid to step out. They're not worried about what anybody else thinks or says or does. They know right from wrong, and however they got to that point, they know that, and so they're able to communicate that and make sure that the locker room's right. And we have other guys too that are good leaders too in there, so that's very helpful.
All right, we're going to go around the back, in the middle, and down, finish in the front. Go ahead, James.
Andy, Travis mentioned kind of in-game to Patrick that he made some moves off script that somehow Pat knew he was going to go there and the ball was out. Like, that's unspoken ability to just know where another guy is going to be between the two of them. Do you see them work on that at times? How does that happen? Can you describe it?
Yeah, we watch it every day. I mean, they work on that. There's certain plays we give them some freedom on, and when they're working in space or that. So, and they've developed that. So you give them certain guidelines, and then let them put their own mark on it. So both of them have good feel for each other and how they play. So.
Pete, with the ankle injury early on, Pat, it seemed like he was a little bit slower, a little bit more tentative to go outside the pocket, scramble, and whatnot. He seems comfortable now with 50 yards last game. Just how does that open things up as far as the outlet?
Yeah, well, it's good. I mean, that's a positive for us that you have that threat. And he's smart with it. He knows when to get down, stay up. He's good with that. I think you're right. I mean, I think he's not more willing, but he feels more comfortable, obviously, because of he had the brace and all those other things going on there. So he, I think he's more comfortable getting out there now.
Derrick Henry is an unusual physical specimen.
Who was that? I'm sorry.
Henry.
Yes, very
Given
much so.
his size and speed combination, who would you liken him to that you faced over the years, and what's the challenge that he presents?
Oh, the guy played right there, Eddie. I mean, he and Eddie are similar size. This kid might be even bigger than Eddie, but both of them were big, strong backs that could run fast. And you'd look at him and you go, man, they'd be good tight ends too. He's a heck of a player. Good kid too. He's a really quality kid. So he loves to play the game.
Matt?
The Titans offensively haven't shied away from using some creativity, being pretty aggressive in play calling. How do you prep for a team that you know is going to maybe pull out a couple of trick plays a game? And is there a churning in the gut when you face a team like that, or even if you're making a decision to do maybe a trick play on your own?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to do what they do, and so we understand that. I mean, they've got good players, and they've got good coordinators, and a good scheme, both sides of the ball. So you know that things are going to come in that you haven't worked on, and then you've got to bank on your fundamentals and techniques and training. So that's what you do, and then you have a short memory. So you get in, learn from it, and then you got to move on to the next play if they get you on one. Again, you're banking that you get them on more than they get you on. So, but no, I don't sit there and that's not. You're too busy making sure that you take care of what we need to do on the offensive side. Make sure that I'm doing my head coaching responsibilities and to worry about all of that. Other than the fundamental part, make sure we're sound. That's what you try to do.
Coach, after the game on Sunday, Sammy Watkins, in addition to giving credit to Mahomes and Kelsey for helping really lead the team and get the mentality right when you guys were trailing, gave a lot of credit to you and the coaching staff as well. You've been in this thing a long time. What specific experiences do you lean on from your time coaching to help in this critical point in the season drive your team forward to win this series?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was lucky enough my senior year in college. We played a game like that against SMU, bowl game, and we were down by a gazillion points, 3 touchdowns, 3 minutes left, and we were able to come back and win the game by 1 point, and that's kind of stuck in there. I mean, I thought that was kind of crazy. This one matched it, that one the other day, but same type of situation. So, you know, you have there's that hope. And then I think it's the feel of your team, and kind of you get the feel on the sideline. If you've been down there long enough, you kind of can sense what guys are thinking, where their minds are at. And I mentioned that these guys didn't flinch in that situation. There was a confidence there. Let's get right and get ourselves right. So I think as coaches, we're here to teach, so we tried to do that at that time. And the players, they were going, let's just, we don't drop balls. We catch them and we do our thing and we make plays and both sides of the ball, and that's what guys did.
Last two, Karen and then BJ.
Coach, how does winning a game like that help prepare you for the next game? When you come back like that, obviously there's a confidence, but they now believe they can pretty much handle anything. And is that a good thing that you like to see with your team as you go to the next level?
I don't think it hurts. I think right now, though, preparation is the most important thing. Getting yourself ready for this team. They're all different. This team is going to give you a certain look. They kicked our tail the last time we played them, and so we got to make sure that we get ourselves right. And so that's what we're doing, and we're going to work hard at that.
Last one, B.
Following up to what Ed had asked about with Derrick Henry, just because he's such a unique physical specimen as an athlete, just what kind of added benefit, or what can the guys take from the fact that they've already seen him, they've faced him, knowing that there's not a lot of guys every week that they're going to face like that?
Yeah, they're not a lot of guys, but you're facing them this week, and so you get yourself right to play, and that's the process that you go through right now, and the most important thing, and on both sides of the ball and special teams, get in and exhaust yourself on preparation for the mental part of it.
All right, thank you.